John. These two teams ranked 1 and 3 in the country. It doesn't get much better than this. Stanford comes in with a lot of confidence. They got 4 seniors and 2 juniors on the floor most of the time. A potential player of the year in Kristen Klein, and Don Shaw likes his chances in Klum tonight.
Earlier we talked with Don Shaw and Dave Shoji and said, hey, Coach, what worries you about the other team?
Well, I don't know if it's really a worry, but it's a concern of mine. Some of the things that concern me, Sherry Boyer is a real experienced player. She's a very good player. Coached a little bit with her at the Pan American Games, and I enjoyed coaching her. And so that experience is definitely a factor. And I think there's some athletes on this team that have a tremendous amount of ability that can get very, very hot at any given time.
Well, what worries me the most about Stanford is whether we're going to score any points at all. I watch a lot of film on them, and they just don't give up any points. They side out well, and they have such a great block and defense that, like UCLA, scored 1 and 2 points first 2 games that they played them last week. So, you know, if we can score, block, and play some defense and score, then I think we'll be in the match. Otherwise, it could be a long night for us.
So the Cardinal and the Wahines in the final regular season series. Starting lineups coming up after this.
Well, Hawaii definitely has to block well against this Stanford team. You see they've got a 1 block per game average better than Stanford. I think that's going to be critical. You notice that Stanford digs more balls than Hawaii, so Stanford's back row is much improved. In the past, they've been a pretty good frontline team. This year, they're a very good backline team. One of the reasons why they're ranked #1 in the country.
Ironic numbers there. Hawaii usually one of the best digging teams in the country. Right now, let's go to our public address announcer, Henry Yamamoto, for tonight's Mauna Loa starting lineups. Henry?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Klum Gym for tonight's match, featuring the top-ranked Cardinal from Stanford University and the 3rd-ranked University of Hawaii, Rainbow Wahine. First, introducing the starters for the Stanford Cardinal. A 6-foot senior from El Toro, California, number 3, Nicole Appleman. A 5'10 junior from Davis, California, number 5, Carrie Feldman. A 6'2 junior from Irvine, California, number 7, Bev Oden. A 5'8 junior from Riverside, Illinois, number 10, Kathy Jurgens. A 6-foot senior from Pacific Palisades, California, number 16, Kristen Klein. And a 5'9 senior from San Jose, California, number 24, Jennifer Jackson. The assistant coach, Denise Corliss, and the head coach, Don Shaw. And now, introducing the starters for the University of Hawaii, Rainbow Wahine. A 5'8 sophomore from Albuquerque, New Mexico, number 1, Kenyatta Lovelace. A 6'1 senior from Vallentuna, Sweden, number 9, Malin Fransson. A 6'1 sophomore from Manhattan Beach, California, number 15, Crystal Atwood. A 5'10 sophomore from Compton, California, number 16, Key Williams. A 6'1 senior from Poway, California, team co-captain number 8, Sherry Boyer. And a 5'8 senior from Pearl City, Hawaii, team co-captain number 14, Tony Nishida. Trainer Melody Toth, part-time assistant Tino Reyes, graduate assistant Laura Phillips, the assistant coach Howard Wallace, and the head coach Dave Shoji.
Hawaii has the first serve. We'll get underway right after this.
Here we have our Mauna Loa key matchups for tonight. In my opinion, the setting of Boyer and Feldman is going to be very crucial tonight. If these two setters, their veteran setters, can get their hitters one-on-one situations, it could turn the match around for their team. And I think that Kenyatta Lovelace and Kristen Klein are going to be big factors tonight. If either one of them has a bad match, their teams could go down with them.
Mauna Loa, all the goodness of Hawaii, Chris. The PA is playing We Will Rock You, and this place is 2,000 plus and ready to roll. Stanford averages about 2,000 for their home games, but of course those 2,000 are cheering for the Cardinals. There's Kristen Klein, odds-on favorite to win Player of the Year this year.
She is, and there's another great player right there, Kenyatta Lovelace. Stanford might average more next year. They may move more games to Maples Pavilion next year, where they can get in a lot more people.
1-0, the big roof goes up.
Oh, what a way to start, John. Hawaii with their big block getting an early point. Dave Shoji's got to love that.
Hard to believe, Chris, that this Stanford team held UCLA to 2 points and 1 point in their match a couple of weeks ago. That is just beyond belief that UCLA couldn't get more than 3 points in 2 games. Heck, Hawaii's almost there right now.
Sure, Dave Shoji said in our open that he was hoping to score tonight. Well, he has already.
T. Williams looking for the tip. No tip is called. And it's a point for the Cardinal. It's 1-1.
What's happening now, John, is that Dan Hironaka, the umpire, is going up to John Zabriskie, the referee, and saying, I heard a touch. Side out Hawaii. Let's see if we see it right there. Yep, there we go right there. Slight touch, either by Oden or Appleman.
Looks like Appleman's fingers bent back there, so Hawaii gets the side out back.
Don Shaw said his team doesn't lose points in bunches, but already they got 2 early points that they've given up to Hawaii. Let's see if Franzen can lead them to a 3rd point.
Kristen Klein, a lot of hammering tonight.
There is what you call a terminator. Everybody calls her a terminator. She terminated that rally. She terminated Hawaii's momentum. And now the ball is in the court of the Cardinal.
T. Williams off the block, back over to the Wahines.
There's one of the new wrinkles that Dave Shoji has inserted into the lineup. The new offense is putting Key Williams to the outside on at least 1 rotation. She got her side out.
Boyer pops it over, free ball for the Cardinal. Bev Oden. Bev Oden, Player of the Year last year as a sophomore. That's amazing.
And she of the famous Oden volleyball playing family. Sister is Kim, a former Stanford captain and now Olympic captain. And her other sister, Kim, from University of Pacific, also playing on the Olympic team.
Ball lands wide, back over to the Wahines. You know, Chris, we talk about the Boyers and their big family barbecues, 2 All-Americans, Sherry and Ann. How about the Oden family barbecues? Nobody probably can hit a ball. I mean, they're all on the ground all the time with those balls. Oden hits it inside, and it goes back over to the Cardinals.
They have so many weapons, John. Oden hitting from the right side there really opens up the block. Look at this. Hawaii cannot get 2 blockers out there. Nishida fooled that time. That shot barely goes in.
The other thing the Cardinal have is a lot of size. 6'2", 6'2", 6 feet. Hawaii pops 2 balls over. Stanford should not let this one go unheeded. Well, they don't get a good shot at it. Now Boyer to Nishida. Great dig by Stanford. It's out.
Hawaii almost celebrated too early here. Nishida puts it down, and all Hawaii players start celebrating. Watch this ball keep going, though. Stanford doesn't give up. They take an easy one and pop it out of bounds. Hawaii got lucky there.
Great digs by the Cardinal. Ace serve.
A well-conceived game plan so far by Coach Dave Shoji. Serving tough down the line. That'll take that middle attack away from Stanford.
It's a good point, Chris. Dave said he was worried about his serve. He said we really don't have big serves. But what he does have is a 4-0 lead early in game number 1. And Don Shaw calls a quick timeout.
2 other players I think that might make a difference here tonight. Also, their back row play. They've got a back row pair in Kathy Juergens and Lori Sawin. both of whom are considered the best back row tandem in the country. I think Shota and Golden might have something to say about that, but they are great back row players who keep Stanford in every rally.
On the other side of the net for Hawaii, Toni Nishida's really been coming along lately. She's got her hitting up over 200. She was at about 140. She is a senior, she's a captain, and she wants to go out shining here at Klum. Also, Hawaii's blocking. They're number 2 in the country. They're facing the best team in the country and one of the biggest teams in the country. So far, the blocking is working.
It really is, John. To start the game off with that stuff block had to do an awful lot for Hawaii's confidence, and it concerns this guy right here, Don Shaw, who's looking for an NCAA championship.
Well, Key Williams also had a solo block on a bad set and pass to Bev Oden. Here's Oden from behind the 10-foot line, and she hits it long.
Sherry Boyer's serving is really making a big difference. So they're picking on Jennifer Jackson down the line. Let's see if we get a sub in here. We're getting a sub in for Nicole Appleman right now, but Appleman has not been the problem. It's been Boyer serving, so Shaw is using that as a ploy to slow the game down there and hope to take Boyer out of her serving rhythm.
Here's one of those great back row players as Sawin comes in. There's a pass real close to the net. It's dumped, and it's a play by Lovelace, but she didn't get a good swing at it. There's a ball down the line. Boyer diving, can't get there.
Amy Cooper goes up this time, hits it cross court right at her former teammate, Sherry Boyer. The two of them played in the World University Games team this summer and the Pan Am Games, so they are good friends.
And the Cardinal is on the board. That time Cooper puts it through the block. Amy Cooper hitting 297 coming in. As Chris mentioned, she played on the B team along with Klein and Oden and Boyer. Interesting call there, Chris. She calls Mullen. Everybody in the gym heard it, and Mullen puts kind of a lazy floater in a hole.
Well, Stanford plays a wide defense, and they are suspect right here in the middle where everybody's spread out thinking that Mullen's going to hit it hard, and Mullen shows a good off-speed shot.
Kristen Klein off of Key Williams, side out, back over to Stanford.
Well, we heard Dave Choji that time yelling, Kristen, Kristen, and the reason he was is the player of the year should always have 2 blockers on her. That time she only had 1. You're not going to stop the player of the year with only 1 blocker.
Of course, it is premature, but I would think there might be 1 or 2 other challengers for that title. Possibly Antoinette White of Long Beach. Crystal Atwood gets a piece of it. Boyer hits it to Nishida. Good play by Toni, though. She hit it all the way across, and now a free ball for the Wahines. Atwood.
I'll tell you what's great about that play. Crystal Atwood had great peripheral vision. She saw she had the small blocker, number 5, Carrie Feldman, down the line. Boyer gave her a perfect set on the line, and she just nailed it.
Well, and Toni Nishida took what could have been a lot of a problem and made a great play. Nice by Lovelace. She takes her time. Amy Cooper didn't go for it. I don't think Don Shaw likes that, or maybe the back row should have come up with the ball dropped in, and I know he doesn't like that.
I think what he felt was that the ball, he felt that Key Williams hit a ball that was on Stanford's side of the net. He's asking for some help from the referee, but he's not going to get it.
No, you're right. He's questioning where she was on the net on that hit.
So far, Hawaii playing very, very well, with the exception of that serve there. They've played almost flawlessly so far, John. They blocked well. Their transition has been flawless. Their passing has been good. Defense good. They're really on top of their game. They're picking up right where they left off against Fresno State.
Bev Oden with a solo roof. It is 2-6. Remember, at the end of our match tonight, Chris and I will pick the GTE Hawaiian Tel players of the match. GTE Hawaiian Tel will make a contribution to the General Scholarship Fund, WH, in the name of those players who went beyond the call.
There is a big-time block by Oden, their number 1 blocker. She is good. One-on-one on the outside, and Crystal does it again.
So Bev Oden gets one back on Key Williams, who stuffed her earlier, and now Hawaii gets the side out. Remember, Hawaii with a new offense. They've added some new wrinkles, so any early season footage Don Shaw might have seen, he's going, God, I didn't see that. Great dig by Nishida. And Key keeps it alive, but Stanford with an opportunity. Right through the block that time goes Nicole Appleman. Appleman hitting only .231. Her sister Carrie plays at Colorado State, but Chris, she's really improved this year.
She really has, and to get 10 kills and only 1 error versus a team like UCLA shows that she has come a long way.
Don Shaw had two concerns coming into the season. One was health, because he felt after his starting 6 or 7 or 8, he didn't have a real deep bench. And secondly was the play of the outside hitters, other than, of course, the big guns.
Dave shows he wants a clarification here. He called 2 hits on P. Williams, claiming that she not only played the second ball for Hawaii over the net, she also played the third ball. This push here at the net, there's a claim that she hit it twice, I guess, and John Zabriskie takes it away, and Stanford serves.
Looked like her hand might have slipped off the ball the second time, so Kenyatta Lovelace keeps it in and gets it back for the Wahines. It's 6-3, and Shaw yelling at his team to get the ball.
I like the way Hawaii attacks this ball behind the 10-foot line. Rather than just bumping the ball over, they've got to have aggressive swings from the back row if they're going to be any good. John, Stanford is very confused right now in the back row. They've let Kenyatta Lovelace's 10-foot line hit the floor. They let that one that came high off the block hit the floor. Don Shaw's got to be frustrated with their confusion out there right now. This is not characteristic of the #1 team.
Lovelace partially blocked. And Franson and Nishida, neither of them get that one. That one went right between them. Two seniors looking at each other going, we should have gotten that.
Might have taken an out ball there. It looked like it might have been a couple feet out. Nobody gave Mullen a call.
And that one does land out, so another mistake. And Miley Golden, Hawaii's answer to the Stanford back row specialist, checks in. Miley's played in every game this year for Hawaii except one, and she does a great job in the back row, another one of Hawaii's seniors.
First female scholarship athlete from Hawaii to play for UH, and she has really been a major reason for their success this year. Watch her chase this one down. Used to be a track star.
Oden from the outside and hits it way long. Not a great set, but then again, Oden's pass was not that good, and it's 8-3.
If she's got a flaw this year, John, it's been that her percentage hasn't been as high. She's hitting more balls out, more hitting errors. Right now, she's hitting negative, 2 kills and 3 errors.
Off of Mullen Franson.
Mullen Franson took an out ball there as well. The player is a little over anxious on both sides. We've seen some serves that were probably out. The last 2 serves, in fact, in my opinion, were out, and that particular spike there was probably going out.
Nishida, a little step-out move. Tony puts it inside the antenna, and Hawaii gets it back.
There's an advantage of having a 5'8" blocker in the middle. Tony Nishida went up that time and tried to block Cooper. Cooper at 6'2", just flat out went over Nishida. Had Nishida been 6'2", she probably would have got a piece of that ball.
Christy Paso comes in the back row. She played in about a third of Stanford's games. Don Shaw trying to find the combination that's going to work here, especially with the passing. Don Shaw calls timeout, 10-3, another block. He leads the series 15-4. The last time they met 2 years ago in the season-ending series here in Hawaii. Hawaii won the first night in 4. The second night they won going away. Try high-quality Chevron gasolines with the cleansing power of Tetraline. Hawaii beat Stanford 3-1 in '87 to win the national title in that championship. Hawaii also beat Stanford, as we mentioned, in '89, and the Cardinal last beat Hawaii back in '88, and they also beat them twice here back in '85. So these teams tend to meet every other year. Stanford tends to come out here, and this is not what Don Shaw was hoping to get underway tonight.
It certainly wasn't, John. He's very concerned right now that Hawaii's on a roll, and he can't find a way to stop him. He's called a timeout. He's called 2 timeouts now here, already at the 10-point mark. And he's already replaced Jennifer Jackson with Paso on the outside, so he's getting a little desperate right now.
Net violation called on Hawaii. And then the Cardinal will serve. Back to serve is Paso. Great dig in the back row. Stanford keeps it alive, but it's a free ball for Hawaii. Not a good play that time. Sherry Boyer goes right back to Tony, and Nishida did not have much of a hit.
Not a bad idea, though, to go to Tony Nishida twice in a row. Cooper got it the first time. Here's a nice dig, though, in the back row by Klein. Or that was Appleman that time.
4-10. This time it's a tough set for Franzen. She tips it off the block. And Hawaii catches a break, as that time Franzen on the off timing. Now talking to Boyer about where that one should have been, but she tips it over and Hawaii gets it.
That last set just died. Mullen made the best of it, though. She picks up her 4th kill in 5 attempts. She's only hitting 800 so far tonight. That's not a bad evening.
Not at all. Coming into the game, Stephanie Shota. Kenyatta Lovelace takes a seat. Keep an eye on the next couple of sets, Chris. Because if Hawaii has had a flaw this year, it's even when things get rolling, sometimes they go in clumps where it just falls apart. We've seen 2 questionable sets in a row. Mullen, Franzen all over that ball. The big roof.
Well, remember, Mullen rose to the occasion when she played #1 ranked UCLA back in September. She seems to be rising to the occasion to play #1 ranked Stanford right now. She's hitting well and blocking well.
She wants to go out not only of her UH career, but her career in America with some force. She doesn't want to be just a quiet one on the court. She wants to be the imposing Terminator, if you will, and she's doing it so far tonight. A serve for Shota. More confusion. That time Paso and Oden, and neither of them come up with it. It is 12-4.
Stephanie Shota just drills this ball, just pumps it right into that seam. Picked up an ace. Hawaii up 12-4. What a surprise.
Well, Kristen Klein, Chris, tried to take something off that, and it didn't fool anybody.
And Don Shaw has no way to stop Hawaii's momentum right now. He's already used up both of his timeouts, and he's gone through his subs, basically. He'll probably get a couple more subs in, but that would really be getting desperate.
This time Klein kills it, and there's Boyer. But it's lifted too far. A rare mistake by Miley Golden. Tonight in every televised Wahine volleyball match, we play Aloha Ball contest, sponsored by V-Ball Hawaii. Tonight, Ann Wilkinson will be playing the Aloha Ball contest. In this game, if Hawaii scores their 15th or Aloha Ball point, Ann will win a $50 gift certificate from V-Ball Hawaii. Boy, what a dig that was by Boyer.
Came right off Boyer's face. Dolan should have kept that ball in play. Whenever you make a great dig like that, got to keep it in play.
Well, there's a set that's too wide for Franzen. She hits it out. It's 5-13.
Hawaii clearly in control, though, John. Dave showed you he has both of his timeouts left. He's got plenty of substitutions.
6-13 as that ball off of Crystal Atwood. Not a time for Hawaii to catch their breath right now, Chris. You're right, but this Stanford team is too good. Stanford has only had to go 5 games once all year. Matter of fact, they've only lost 9 games the entire season as Kathy Juergens serves it out. That's an amazing stat. 27-0, and they've only lost 9 games. They've won 32 of their last 33 games.
And look at the blocking rotation for Hawaii right now. Key Williams, Crystal Atwood, and Mullen Franzen, all over 6 feet. Should give Stanford some problems. But not when you're playing against the player of the year, the potential player of the year, Kristen Klein, number 16. She does everything.
So Stanford gets it back, and what they've done here is not only slowed down Hawaii's momentum, but maybe they can get back into this game. There you see Stanford. It's actually reversed there. It should be Stanford 81-9. Hawaii is 70-18. That's games. That's total games they've won and games they've lost. Franzen not only put it down, but she actually pumped her fist up into the air. A little excitement from Mullen. She goes back to serve at 13-6.
Yeah, Hawaii's taking Stanford's best punches. They put in Piper Hahn that time, a back row specialist, in for Feldman. She had a great jump serve. Hawaii popped it right up.
Tony Nishida, great dig off of Klein. Here's Atwood. Kept alive by the Cardinal and Oden. Atwood again. A set to a set and a block. Key Williams hits it over, which was a mistake. Didn't put enough on it. Stephanie showed a good pass. Atwood for a third time. It goes out. So same play 3 times, and Atwood from about 7 feet couldn't get it down. And now it's Stanford serve, but the crowd appreciates the effort.
Really was a good effort, John, and the passes weren't good enough to go to Key Williams in the middle. I would like to have seen Key hit a step-out move there or go to the right somehow to draw that block away. Here she is on the outside, just the side out.
So we've seen Key lately moving to the outside. It's pretty effective when you've got the big rifle that she does. Kenyatta Lovelace coming back in up front to Hawaii. Another good rotation for the Wahines with Williams and Lovelace up front.
Look at the big smile by Stephanie Shota. She comes out high-fiving everybody on the bench. Got a service ace, dug a couple balls.
Bev Oden off the block. That ball's going, and it's gone. A good try by Malin Franzen, though.
Good pursuit by the Rainbows, too. Boyer and Nishida both following Franzen in case she bumped it up just a little bit right there next to her. They were ready to put it back over the net.
When Malin got there, you almost get the feeling the crowd was in her way. She didn't want to hurt herself. We'll save that for the finals.
I don't know if I like this play, John. This is a 31 set to Lovelace. Normally an outside hitter. It's a high set. Here she goes right up against Stanford's biggest and best blocker. I don't think Shoji and Boyer are going to run that play too much longer. That's not a good matchup at all. Hawaii got very lucky there.
5-8 against last year's Player of the Year. And she's roofed, and it's kept alive by the Cardinal. Malin Franzen up front to Boyer. She goes to Lovelace. Block, kept alive. Miley Golden, a great dig. And here's Lovelace. She's roofed Boyer. Good pass up front. Ebb and flow.
There's Shoji clapping, the whole place clapping. What a rally. Both teams playing good volleyball. Too bad it had to end on a shot out like that. I don't think we've seen Boyer hit one out like that all year.
Carrie Feldman checks back in. Piper Hahn comes in to try to spark him and do some setting. She is the number 2 setter. Carrie Feldman.
Piper Hahn came in, had a good jump serve, set a couple of good balls there, played very well. Now they go back to Feldman.
Lovelace is roofed on the step out that time, and looking across the net at her was Christy Passo.
Oh, Christy Passo, a fiery competitor. Here we see the back set, ball goes into the net. Passo claims she got the block. I don't think it made it over the net.
There's Lovelace from the other side. It's roofed. Nice move by Tony Nishida. A little jump fake there. Threw off a potential play by Amy Cooper. But Krista Wahines have to get over this hump here. It was 13-3. Now it's 13-7.
This is a good rotation for Hawaii. Remember, they scored a bunch of points with Boyer serving down the line. Let's see if she goes down the line here. She does it. She goes cross court to Oden.
And Hawaii gets the 14th point as Oden passes it too close to the net. Hawaii tips it down.
Oden is a non-passer. She's out of the passing area. Boyer still found her. Let's see if she does it again.
Oden from behind the 10-foot line. Here's Hawaii's first chance to win game number 1. Lovelace. Oh, there's Klein. She'll put it up front. Nice hit, a big hit. Christy Passo sparking the team now. It's 7-14, and the Cardinal will serve.
Don Shaw said Passo is not a great powerful hitter, but she's got a lot of shots, and she's tough to block.
Came back from a back injury last year. Malin Franzen roof. Crystal keeps it alive, and Tony goes to Malin. Goes around the block, but not very hard. That young lady usually hits it hard. Kristen Klein. It's 8-14. Dave Shoji telling his team where to move.
Watch for Dave Shoji. He's doing a shift down the service C formation, but watch for him to call a timeout here and stop Stanford's momentum. He doesn't want to let him get the double figures before he calls his first timeout.
Lovelace again from the outside. Stanford block. Cannot stop it. And Shota's going to come in. And she'll come in for Kenyatta Lovelace to try to win game number 1. Let's see if they go back at Oden in the back. Passo's kind of blocking her off. We'll see if they go at her.
Tough to serve Oden because she's on the back line. I think Shota's just going to serve a good tough one, and it's going to be in here.
It is in. It's toward Oden.
can't believe that Paso backed out of the way there. That was Paso's ball all the way. Oden wasn't even supposed to be near it. Shota gets the ace, though. Hawaii gets the win. They really shouldn't, John. And not only did they happen on the last point, they happened prior to that, about 2/3 of the way through the game. Stanford passers bailed out on a back row player like Oden, who's not supposed to pass the ball, and didn't make Bev look very good. But Dave shows he's got to be happy that they got that kind of a break. As we take a look at the stats from game number 1, Hawaii hitting 283 to Stanford's 125. The big key there, Stanford with 10 hitting errors to Hawaii's 5. Those were a lot of gifts that Hawaii got very lucky getting. I don't suspect that Stanford will have that many hitting errors in game number 2. So Hawaii's going to have to tighten up their defense just a little bit. The 5 blocks that Hawaii got, that's almost twice as many as what they're used to. So again, they're right around that top 5 in the nation mark. And I think they're going to need to continue to block that well in order to beat this very good Stanford team.
So Stanford, as we said, have lost only 9 games all year coming in. And that's against teams like Pacific, UCLA twice, New Mexico. Those teams all took a game from them. Pacific took a game, UCLA took 1 game, New Mexico took 2 games. That's 4 losses right there. So Stanford's had an unbelievable season so far. A dream come true, looking for their first national title ever. Stanford has been to the dance before, but they've never walked home with the prize. And of course, in '87, Hawaii beat them in the finals 3-1. That was the year Hawaii beat Stanford twice here. Don Shaw's only comment was, we'll see what happens on a neutral court. Well, Indianapolis was neutral, and Hawaii neutralized Stanford in their last national title. So we start game 2, and the Cardinal serves, and Malin Franzen gets another kill. She now has 6 on the evening, and not an error yet.
Well, Malin, who used to play in the Swedish junior national team and wants to play in their national team someday, that time goes off. Kristen Klein uses her hands, and Klein played with the USA B team, which is the second national team, this past summer with Boyer. So 2 very good players going at each other that time.
Kristen Klein off the block, kept alive. Shota pops it up. Atwood off the block. Malin Franzen sets it way back to Atwood. Boy, she does hit it hard when she even doesn't have a hit. Good block, but Bev Oden hustles to keep it alive. Boyer tips it over by mistake, and Stanford keeps it alive. Good rally here on some mistakes. That was about 8 points in one play, Chris McLaughlin, as everything happened inside, outside, and finally off the block and a free ball hit.
And that's about the 4th long rally we've had tonight already. I interviewed several coaches, college coaches on the mainland, and I asked them what's going to be the key to tonight's match in their opinion. And their comments were whoever wins the long rallies they think will have an emotional edge. Well, it's about 2-all so far. I think Hawaii's won a couple of long rallies and Stanford's won a couple of long ones, but fans at home better settle in because this could be a long night if we continue to have rallies like that. 2 excellent volleyball teams.
Stanford has peaked all year long. Hawaii possibly peaking at just the right time with postseason play just around the corner. Big block up front, but that'll be played by the Cardinal, and it's mishit. Christy Paso had a week and a half to think about it, and then she mishandled it.
I can't believe she took this with her hands. The ball was blocked. There's Key going up on the hit in the middle by Bev Oden. Normally the block's down, but that time it went about 25 feet in the air.
Stanford keeps it alive. Boyer should not have hit that one as it's blocked. And it goes back over to Stanford. And, you know, it's always easy for me to sit here and say she shouldn't have hit it after it gets blocked, but on 3 balls like that, if you can't put it down and kill it, you're probably better off passing and catching the other team escape.
Stanford got very lucky there, John. Their setter, Terry Feldman, went under the net on that last play, but there was so much action at the top of the net, the umpire was distracted and watched the play above the net rather than watching the center line to see who goes under.
Left hand from Key, and it works. That's unbelievable. She was so far outside the antenna, Chris, she just hit it with her left hand. It goes off of Juergens and out of bounds.
That's her 4th kill with only 1 error, and 3 of her 4 kills have come from the outside. hitting on the outside is something she hasn't done all year. She's been hitting out of the middle, and all of a sudden now Dave Shoji's changed the lineup, changed his offense around, and she has been a crucial factor out there.
Good play by Key. That time she passes it on the free ball. And believe it or not, that's our first point of game number 2. Hawaii gets it. They lead 1-0. Good play by Key. Had an opportunity to hit a free ball. That time she passed it, and Lovelace gets the point.
Roof. I asked Kathy Gregory of Santa Barbara what the key to the match tonight for Hawaii was. It was the block, and there is another block. Hawaii 6 by Sherry Boyer.
Hawaii with double the blocks of Stanford right now. That was one of our budget keys, Chris. Of course, Hawaii's block. Yeah, they're number 2 in the country, but it's a little different when you get Stanford in here as opposed to the Utah State and the New Mexico states Hawaii's played before. Of course, Hawaii's also blocked well against Pacific and a few other teams. Good play by Boyer on a bad pass. Sherry Boyer making a late season run to return as an All-American.
She really is. You know, after 4 years of hitting dump shots like that, coaches know about her, but she's so good at it right now. Even when you know that she's going to do it, it's still hard to stop.
Uses right and left hand effectively. Nishida partially blocked. Now in front, some nice digging by Hawaii. Really good passing.
Well, there's some happy Klum campers there. This sold-out house here at Klum Gym, ecstatic that Hawaii is playing so well. And Kenyatta Lovelace with 7 kills already.
Off the block and can't get it as Key goes up with a thumb and misses it. Just trying to stick a paw on that and keep it alive and can't get it.
Well, Dave Shoji knows he's going to be in for a long night, so he's left Key Williams in the back row. Normally she gets subbed out by Miley Golden, but Shoji has chosen to stick with her, at least in this first rotation, first time around.
Step out move, Nishida, nicely hit. Stanford puts it over and a chance for the Wahines. Kept alive, Nishida ducking out of the way. Boyer falls over her. They both get up. And Stanford puts it down, and Nishida goes down, and she is hurt. Tony Nishida looks like she tweaked a knee, Chris. This happened last year in the regional. Tony got hurt.
Well, this will be a tragic loss for the Bows if it's as bad as it looks. She is in a lot of pain right now. Melody Toth, the trainer, out there taking a look at her. No one likes to see this happen, John.
Well, Chris, she was down on the floor. She got back up, and I think she might have either hit an ankle as she came down or just twisted it. But right now she is silenced at the Klum crowd as Dr. Alan Richardson's out there with her, Dave Shoji and Melody Toth.
It's like a Morgan here right now. You can hear a pin drop.
Senior Tony Nishida, a crowd favorite.
Young lady from Pearl City wants to be an attorney. Has her last match in Klum, the going away match on Friday night. I'm sure that will be an emotional time for her, and there's no way that anybody wanted to see this kind of thing happen.
We'll be back to check on Tony and continue with our match right after this. Crowd as she's helped off. Very simply what happened, Chris, as we thought might have happened. 2 players went up, Boyer and Nishida, and she tweaked an ankle, but we're not sure right now if it's her ankle or her knee. She seems to be favoring the knee. You take a look. She goes up. This is after they both got off the floor. Now watch her right foot. Ooh, right on Sherry Boyer's left foot. And you can see that knee kind of indent there, and it's obviously a question of how bad it is. Well, we can only hope that it's just a mild sprain. And filling in right now, coming in for Hawaii, Heather Brennan, coming back from a back injury. And talk about filling some big shoes as now Bev Oden goes back to serve at 1-3.
Heather Brennan, the tallest center blocker Hawaii has a big chance right now to show what she can do.
That time just tweaking it off the block is Christy Paso. So what Hawaii's got to do, and the crowd's got to help them do, is keep the momentum here and not let Stanford rally around that injury.
You're very right, John. So often when a co-captain or a team leader, a spiritual leader like Nishida goes down, people that are younger tend to cave in around her. Let's see if the seniors here can pull it together. And that dig goes to the top of Klum Gym.
That's amazing that it didn't hit anything, but that's as high as you can go in Klum. And that's as low as you can go as Kenyatta gets it back. Lovelace gets it back to the Wahines. 3-2. Game number 2. Hawaii leads 1-0. Of course, we play 3 out of 5. Good dig, and there's not a bad play by Brennan to keep it alive, and Kristen Klein pops it up front. Paso again. Lovelace hits her dig over the net. It looked like a Hawaii player might hit the net. Don Shaw screaming about it, but there's no call. Hawaii just bouncing it over the net, and Stanford puts it down easily. Well, here you see they're getting the ice on it immediately to keep the swelling down. Tony Nishida on the side, and they'll do that as a precaution.
You know, when we watched the replay, I really thought it was going to be her ankle, but obviously the ankle was okay. It was taped. The knee, though, is what gave way. Now, there's a senior who is taking charge right there. I told you the seniors have got to take charge. Malin Franzen comes right out and does a job. As one senior goes to the bench, here's another senior cranking it up about 10 miles an hour more.
Chris, right before that point, Don Shaw all over umpire Dan Hironaka. Going to watch the net. He really thought Hawaii knocked into the net on a play that was not called.
Oh, it's so easy to follow the ball here instead of following the net because there's so much action above the net. But in fact, the umpire's job has got to be to watch the net and to watch that center line. But that's why there's so much action, it's very easy to get distracted.
Amy Cooper on the service line. Teammate Kristen Klein clapping, saying, "Let's go." Stanford yelling tight, 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 and there's a mistake up front for Hawaii. A couple of players going for it. It looked like she was going to get there, but doesn't, and it's tied up 3-3.
Just a little off-speed shot here. Atwood really should have had that. I think she just got tripped up there heading for that tip.
Yeah, Key Williams came up the last minute, and Crystal just slowed down enough, and there's a hit by Brennan that lands out.
Good play, though, by Boyer to go to Brennan right away. Get her involved in the game. Let her get warmed up. She probably didn't expect to play much tonight, and all of a sudden now she's been thrown into a very difficult situation. It'll take her a couple of swings to get used to things. Remember, all she's got to do is hit 200 to replace Tony, so that shouldn't be that hard for a middle attacker to do. What will be hard is all the off plays and defense that Tony brings to the team, and the leadership.
Crystal Atwood is blocked. Good play by Key Williams. She stood on the line and said, if that lands outside of my foot, it's got to be out, and it was out. So Stanford with their first lead of the night. Brennan checks out for a breather. She'll obviously get some coaching. And Miley Golden. Through the block that time goes Nicole Appleman. So Stanford has definitely picked it up a level. A lot of different players starting to contribute with their hitting and blocking. As Carrie Feldman goes back to serve.
It's a great back set by Feldman, by the way. She really isolated Hawaii's blockers, gave Appleman a one-on-one.
Malin Franzen finds a hole. She didn't hit it very hard, but it works.
Don Shaw concerned right now. He says, hey, can anybody block Malin's line? She's having a field day going down the line.
Ball lands wide. It's not touched. We're tied at 4. The one thing that would help the Hawaii cause, of course, is the unforced errors.
Already that's 13 unforced errors by Stanford. Good line serve that time by Malin Franzen.
Nice hit by Beth Oden. She comes right up to the net but doesn't touch it. And Crystal Atwood is still trying to get on track. She's still hitting about 150 on the night. Picks up her 4th kill.
Well, she was going up against some kind of block there, too. The 6-foot Appleman, the 6-foot Klein. That's a tough block.
Appleman knocks it down. Appleman hitting .231, as we say, coming into the match. Here's Kristen Klein. He smacks it right past Klein.
Well, that was not a crisp connection, but it worked nevertheless as Key Williams popped it into the corner.
Oh, coming way up for the set. And here's a chance for the Wahines. Now Atwood, good pass to Boyer. Bad connection, though. Looking for the tip, and they do get a tip. No, they don't get a tip. Looked like the linesman called a tip. Apparently it's overruled by John Zabriskie. No tip.
That's right. Good call that time by John Zabriskie. Followed the ball, saw no touch in the block. Called Stanford side out.
Yeah, there was no question Key Williams hit it up high. They thought that it might have been tipped going up. Not a good set that time. Too low.
I said this earlier in game one when they set this 3-set to Kenyatta Lovelace, and it wasn't a good play. She got away with it the first time, but in time number 2, they went right back at the best Stanford blocker, Bev Oden. She just got Kenyatta in a closet there.
Yeah, Kenyatta's at her best when she can obviously jump up and do a number of things with the ball. When the ball's about 3 inches above the net, there's not much she can do from that angle.
Well, actually, she's a real quick jumper, and it's not a bad play if she had a different type of blocker out there. But when Stanford's #1 blocker at 6'2", I don't like that matchup.
Ace serve, nicely done that time, putting it down as Appleman. Stanford leads again 6-5. That ball just died over the court.
It's just flat out a great serve.
Another flat out serve. And Stanford's going to have another opportunity. Hawaii not moving well on defense now. Blocked up front, and there's the Cardinal defense. Oh, what a hit by Key Williams. Boy, she almost threw that one. A couple of the Stanford players saying she did throw it. But Chris, she went right over the block. It looked like she aimed that thing into the corner.
It was a great spot to put the ball. Whether or not she threw it, again, is a subjective call by the officials. But she certainly picked the right spot to hit the ball against Stanford's defense. Now we see Stanford getting some substitutes into the game. Lori Sawin coming in. She's an excellent back row specialist. She broke her nose earlier this year against San Jose State in the warm-up. They ended up wearing a ski mask for a while, a hockey mask.
Randy Brooks comes in. Ball hit wide as they try a little sprinkle in the Stanford offense. Randy Brooks comes in. I said to Dave Shoji, you know, she's come in and hit some fantastic serves. She goes, yeah, I have no idea where they're going, but you're right, there have been some good ones. That ball knocked off the block. It was not tipped. Stanford looking for the tip. 7-6 Wahines. So Randy Brooks comes in, an immediate impact, 2 points. Great serve, free ball. Heather Brennan.
There's an advantage of being 6'3" and hovering at that 7'4" net. She points 2 fingers saying 2 hitters over on this side of the court. Oh, that'll fire her up.
Crystal Atwood goes too far with it, and Brennan goes up a little bit late. But nothing much she could do as that ball was hit too far. And Bev Oden back to serve. Bev Oden, the MVP of the '89 Junior Olympics. Etc., etc.
Oh my, this is a big-time Division I All-American hit. Watch this ball go over Stanford's block here. Over and down. You have no idea how hard it is to do that, Mr. Fink.
Yes, I do. Serve down the line, put back into play, and a back set to the back row to Oden, and she hits it out. 9-6, Don Shaw calls timeout. The Wahines possibly using the Nishida injury as the impetus to put the Cardinal away in Game 2. UCLA, who won the national championship, the other one was to Pacific. Well, this year they've come back in a big way. They've beaten UOP and UCLA twice on the way to an undefeated season. Those were all of the losses from last year, and they've turned it around. Budweiser reminds you to know when to say when. Well, the news on Tony Nishida, not good at all. The early diagnosis is torn ligaments and possible torn cartilage. It would be premature, but maybe not so premature to suggest that she is gone for the team for the season. You can see Tony smiling there ever. The great sport, keeping up her spirits, but Dr. Richardson gives an early diagnosis when they move the knee around a little bit.
Tell you, John, you might have seen a smile there on Tony's face, but inside she's got to be agonizing, seeing her career end so short like this just prior to the NCAAs. She really had a dream, I think, of going to the Final Four this year, and the team was progressing so well. I think she felt she could lead them that way.
They're progressing well now, and she's going to have to lead them from the sideline, and I'm sure she will. As Stephanie Shota checks in and Kenyatta Lovelace checks out. So Heather Brennan getting her golden opportunity, if you will.
What a combination that's going to make. In order to make up for Tony Nishida, you got to have two players. You got to have Brennan at the net and Brandy Brooks come in the back row.
One of the things we've said all year long, Hawaii's got depth on the bench. There's a dump move. Sherry Feldman goes over the non-block.
Very nice dump shot that time by Feldman. A pass close to the net off a tough show to serve. And look at Feldman. Brennan not ready for that one. She should have been up. Again, Feldman, not a flashy setter, but boy, she sure gets the job done. She's led them. She's 54-4 over the last 2 years.
So good rotation back in for Hawaii as Key Williams comes up front. They've got Shota already in the back row, and Miley Golden comes in to serve. Hawaii at 9-6.
Take that back, John. In this particular game, Golden is in for Heather Brennan.
Right.
And Williams has Brandy Brooks coming in for her. But I think in the next game, Shoji will probably reverse it. So he returns to his regular substitution pattern. He's had to adjust things given their injury to Nishida.
Klein over the top, and that lands right in the middle. And Shoji is up off the bench. I think he would have gone out there and taken that himself. He's so mad that that ball dropped.
You know what he's saying right now? He's saying off blockers got to get that tip. Now it's Crystal Atwood's ball all the way, and that ball was in the air a long time.
You see who he's going over to. He's talking to Lovelace, Anderson, Wilton, and Brooks. Jenny Wilton is healthy tonight. Good chance that she will see some playing time. I think a lot of it correlates to how Crystal Atwood keeps playing, as that has been the back and forth substitution all year long. And Crystal's been hot of late. Good jump serve and a good pass outside to Franson.
There's that great line shot by Franson again in Hawaii. Very fortunate to get a good pass off that tough Piper Hahn serve. There's Franson once again tooling that line blocker. Stanford had a good digger down the row, but couldn't bring it up.
Outside to Klein. She's blocked, but it's kept alive. And Key Williams with a pass. Good pass. And a good hit lands just inside. It's 10-6.
John Shaw doesn't like what he sees here. Klum crowd starting to get into game number 2 after Stanford had taken a lead for a while. Hawaii's come back strong.
Net violation called against Hawaii, against Crystal Atwood. It goes back over to Stanford. Your car is your star player. To help keep it performing its best, try high-quality Chevron gasolines with Techroline. So Klein in the back, serving right at Shota. Ooh. Ooh.
I don't know how much longer Hawaii's going to be able to get away with this, but Key Williams going up against 2 of Stanford's best blockers right there. Oden and Appleman. And she just hammered it.
So she went inside the block and cross court, and it died in front of the back row. That's a big hit. Sherry Boyer. Miss hit by Boyer, and that time again, Sherry Boyer had a free ball, tried to kill it quickly, but Stanford too quick, and when it came back to Sherry, she hit it twice, and Stanford gets it back. So a couple of mistakes by Boyer. Although I know, you like the idea, because if she had put it away quickly, it would have been great, but I don't think you do that against Stanford too often. They're ready for every little play up front. Boyer takes it right from the net and roofing Bev Oden. Kenyatta Lovelace up close, goes one-on-one with Oden, and Oden wins that battle.
Oh, what a block by Bev Oden. No wonder she got Player of the Year last year. Look at her penetrate over the net at 6'2". That 7'4" net is nothing for her.
Off the tip that time, it goes back over to Hawaii at 10-7. She really did get her hands extended up on the net that time, and that's kind of like a high jumper getting over the pole with your body. You got to get over the net, and then you got to come back down without hitting the net. So tough athletic move, and Bev Oden, great move to block Lovelace. And Heather Brennan checks back in, and Miley Golden sits down, and here's Key. Ooh, a lift is called, that time on Piper Hahn, the designated setter, is using now up front. John Shaw can't believe it. Thinks it's a terrible call, but it's 11-7.
Now, what he was complaining about there was the fact that he feels that Hawaii's blockers block the set. What a serve by Key Williams. She doesn't normally get the play back row. She loves it so much. She says, hey, I'm going to go and bang some serves, pick up some aces. Watch this ball move, this backcourt angle here. Look at it. just dies. The bottom drops out. There's lead in it as it gets over the net.
Look at her. She's laughing at her teammates. She's looking over at Howard Walsh and Shoji, and she laughed at them after the last one, said something like, "I told you." And Dave Shoji just rubbed his head like, "You got to be kidding me." She does it again. Another great serve. Down the line, right at key, going hard that time is Jennifer Jackson getting it back.
Well, Jackson, who came out midway through game number 1, takes advantage of her second shot that Don Shaw is giving her. The senior from San Jose just drilled that ball down the line.
Bev Oden in the back. Popped over by Lovelace and popped over by Stanford, and Brennan off the block. And getting it back, and Don Shaw calls timeout. He's fed up with that type of stuff. I sound like Hawaii out blocking Stanford. As you can see, 7-5. It was 7-3, but Hawaii's still leading that all-important category. Jackson. Heather Brennan. Heather Brennan.
That may be the single greatest play Heather Brennan has made all year. She takes the cross-court angle away from Jennifer Jackson and just pumps it down on the Hawaii side of the court. Watch this. High 10s all around.
Well, Chris, what was so great about that play was Jackson had the first one blocked by Brennan, and she tried to go inside, and Heather was there. It was like Heather guessed with her and said, "I know you're going to try to cut it in this time, so I'll just put it down over here."
She did a marvelous move that time by the young lady who's taken the injured Tony Nishida's place.
And she has had a very frustrating year with her back going on and off on her. And that time, Crystal Atwood, it goes over her head. Not much of a leap by Crystal, but she was coming up, and the ball went behind her. So 7-13. Jackson to serve. Boy, ace serve. A lot of time between the call. Dave Shoji yelling at the linesman on his side. "You didn't call it. What are you doing? It's your call," he's saying. John Zabriskie now calls the linesman over.
What happened there? That ball actually, I think, hit both lines, and both linesmen thought it was the other guy's call. John Zabriskie, I don't know that he could see that ball. I'm surprised he didn't call a play over.
.813. Let's see what Hawaii does following that play. This time Lovelace, not a great pass, and Stanford has a free chance. And Klein goes off the block, and it's 9-13. That was a terrible pass by Hawaii, and Dave Shoji's going to stop it right now. He calls timeout. Stanford creeping back at 9-13. Wahine's on as they're doing the famous Rainbows cheer. Takes a lot of years of practice to be able to do that one right.
Well, they have a lot to yell about because Hawaii's playing some awfully good volleyball. For those who just joined us, the story of the night so far, Hawaii dominating and losing senior Tony Nishida probably for the season with a severe knee injury that occurred a little while ago. There she is right there with the towel on her head. Blew out her right knee. All kinds of damage inside.
That time the serve lands out, and it's Hawaii's ball at 13-9.
Trainer Melody Toth and Dr. Alan Richardson have prematurely diagnosed it as medial collateral problems, anterior cruciate problems, and basically out for the season.
Kristen Klein goes off of Atwood, and Atwood hits it the wrong way. Kristen Klein, nice swing by Kristen that time. Didn't have a great angle on her run-up, but she puts it into Atwood and gets it back. So at 9-13. Big game now. And I say that because Stanford has come back and Crystal Atwood gets aced on the serve. It's 10-13.
Amy Cooper stepping back and really drilling her serve. You can tell she had national team experience this summer. She goes in, she doesn't care how many people are in the crowd. That time she drilled a little bit too long, but Stanford's starting to play a little more assertively, more aggressively right now. I think Don Shaw said, hey, don't worry about the crowd. Let's go out and protect our #1 ranking and play with pride.
I think he also said, don't worry about the score. Serve hard. You know, a lot of times teams will get down and just, you got to keep it in to get points. But Stanford has served 2 of their last 3 balls out. They also picked up a point in the process on the hard serve. So now Miley Golden comes in at 13-10.
Tough serve. Stanford problems on that pass. Klein has to tip it over. Hawaii could score their 14th point.
But Stanford keeps it alive. Not yet. Kristen Klein. Oh, right through the block. She hit that ball, Chris, from 12 feet away from the net. Went right into the block as the block was coming down.
So these kind of balls that are way off the net, I don't like the blockers getting in the way there. I think they cause more problems for the back row than they do help things out.
Make that 3 serves out of 4 into the net. That's not what they want to do. Serving tough is one thing. Serving in is a must. 13-10. Malin Franzen floats it to the back. Not a good set that time. Not a good pass. And no set. So Jackson having trouble in the back again. I'll bet you Franzen goes back at her. 14-10.
That's what got Jackson out of the game in game number 1. They go right at her again. Let's see if she can pass this one. Not a bad pass.
Nicole Appelman with a changeup. Got a risk taken there at 14-10 to patty cake it over, but it works. And now Kristen Klein in the back row to serve.
This is one of their best rotations right here. They got Oden up front, Klein serving, but Hawaii gets the big side out. What a battle between two great teams. Boyer very selectively choosing her dump shots.
Crystal Atwood for the game. It's 14-10. Up front, partially blocked, and it goes over to Stanford. And 3 Hawaii coaches jumped up on that one, hoping that they could get one more block and one more kill.
I tell you, I don't think a 4-point lead against the #1 team in the country is safe. Do you, John?
Absolutely not. I always think it takes 15 and then switching sides before you feel safe. Witness Hawaii and Pacific a couple of weeks ago. Outside Jackson, not much of an angle, and Hawaii with a chance. Boyer goes outside to Lovelace. She gets the rope. She gets the kill. It lands on Stanford's side. Boy, hard to tell. She hit it so hard. It hit the blocker and bounced on the floor on the Stanford side. And now, G. Williams in to serve for Hawaii. Lovelace calling signals as Jenny Wilton checks in for the first time tonight. Looking for that one hit or that one block to end it. Crystal Atwood, big hit that time. Stanford crowd up and down on this back and forth.
Remember, Jenny Wilton played middle blocker earlier this year. She's asked to go back and play in the middle right now as she, Boyer, and Kenyatta Lovelace are up front together.
Lovelace goes back with a better pass. She comes way up.
Oh, this is easily Kenyatta's best tip of the year. I'm telling you, this is something else. Easily.
Terry Boyer to serve for the game. Hawaii's top 10 all-time server. And here's a free ball. And they miss it. Oh, a mistake for Hawaii.
And Dave Shoji looks to the skies going, hey, it doesn't come any easier than that. We just missed a 1-foot putt right there. By the way, he's a very good golfer. That's why I'm using that term. Shoots in the 70s.
Atwood too far with that one. And into the net and lifting it, and it's 11-14. Crystal Atwood having all kinds of trouble on the serve right now. About 2 or 3 balls. She's had trouble with Dave Shoji, has 1 timeout left. If Stanford scores here, watch him use it. Lovelace, that time a good pass. Back to Lovelace, off the block. Jackson had a chance, she couldn't put it away, and now Kenyatta goes back to win game number 2.
You know, Stanford knew the ball was going to Kenyatta, and they still couldn't stop it. Wilton comes in a little bit cold. They know that Boyer probably won't go to her, so Kenyatta just comes through again. Her 13th kill here. She's hitting .357, 28 swings so far. That's twice as many as any other ball.
13 kills, that's 6.5 a game right now. She would like to end it with 13 kills if Hawaii can end the game. The serve will be in. And it's popped up. Nice short set that time. Twisting set from Feldman to Cooper. Hawaii just can't get that one partial block up front to get a swing.
Amy Cooper is so quick in the middle. She's got a very quick arm swing, moves the ball around well. Solid player.
Good serve.
And a great serve. That was a great serve.
Franzen is loose, but it's kept up by Hawaii. Jackson, nice dig in the back. Oh, Kenyatta Lovelace said, I'm going to let it go, and then she decided to play it and just missed.
There's an example of one of those long rallies, John. Hawaii did not win. We said tonight earlier that whoever win the long rallies would have the advantage.
It is 12-14. And Cooper shoots herself in the foot. She serves it out again.
Well, she She's scored a point each time she's gone back, but she's also stopped Stanford's rallies by serving out.
Jenny Wilton's first serve of the night. It's put real close to the net. Klein doesn't get a good swing. It's kept alive, and it lands out, and Hawaii with another free opportunity. That's about the 4th or 5th time, and Hawaii's had at least 2 or 3 good chances, and Dave Shoji knows it.
I don't know how much longer Hawaii can dodge Stanford's bullets. They keep coming at them.
Outside, Atwood is roofed. It lands out. Crystal got her ponytail out of the way that time.
It almost did get in the way that time. The Stanford blocked it right back in her head. She pulled away. Here's chance number 5 for game number 2. Hawaii better take advantage of this right now, otherwise Stanford could come at them.
Here's their chance. It's going to be passed up front, and Atwood. No, Stanford keeps it alive. Oh, big hit by Klein. It's wide. It's over.
In games 2 and 3, Howard, are you surprised the Wahines are leading 2-0?
Not completely surprised. I think we played the game the way we wanted to play it. You know, we were blocking real well and serving real tough. I am surprised that the first game was won so easily, score-wise, but I know they're going to come back all, you know, with all their guns.
Well, Stanford, we know, #1 team in the country. They're not going to lay down and die. What worries you coming up here in game 3?
I think the biggest thing we have to think about is our change. With Tony out, we really haven't played together as a team, especially against a team as good as Stanford. So if we can make the adjustment with a new player on the court and some of our substitution patterns being different, I think we'll be fine.
And for the fans who just tuned in, tell us what happened to Tony.
Tony landed on I believe it was Sherry's right foot and twisted her knee. She's not in a whole lot of pain right now, but we don't know what the status of her knee is. I don't see her coming back in the game.
Well, I talked to Dr. Richardson, and Dr. Richardson said it definitely is a season-ending injury. Too bad for the Bows, but maybe she can lead you from the bench.
I think she is going to give us all the support she can, and you know, Heather knows that she's got to come in and try to do the job that Tony did. She's excited.
Well, Howard, we appreciate your stopping by between games 2 and 3. Good luck in game number 3.
Thanks a lot.
We'll be back with game 3 from Klum right after this. Score every time out.
And with Tony Nishida out, the tone of the match has definitely changed, but Hawaii hung tough there. Tony Nishida went out very early in game number 2, and we've seen situations like that before with Hawaii teams. Kerry Trishman a couple of years ago went down against UCLA. Hawaii couldn't recover in that match. It was too traumatic. But here tonight, they came back in a big way against the #1 team in the country, and that could bode well for the future for the Bows, because as you mentioned in the interview, Tony is definitely gone for the rest of the year based on the early prognosis.
She definitely is. We can watch for Heather Brennan to help take her place up front. Jenny Wilton might come in and play some middle. She's done that earlier in the year and played well against UCLA in September when they were ranked #1. And finally, Brandy Brooks, I think we'll see her coming in at least in the back row for some duty.
All tipped over that time by Kristen Klein. Comes back over and fronts it. Look out! That was authority. I believe that was the authority she was talking about.
Oh, it certainly was. She said she wanted to play more aggressively, and she is right here. Look at this. Ba-boom! And she looks over at the bench and says, Dave, is that what you meant? She pointed to Shoji on the bench. I think Dave probably talked to her between games and said, Brownson, we need some big numbers out of you. And sure enough, she's given it to him. 9 kills and no errors in 17 attempts.
Roof from Key. It's 2-0 Hawaii. And Dave Shoji was jumping off the bench asking for a lift, but then he sat down because Hawaii got the point anyway.
It is a tough game to call. Things are happening so fast. It is not easy to officiate this game. These two teams playing at a very fast tempo.
Stanford trying to become only the 5th team to go through the season undefeated. It's 3-0 Hawaii. Last team to go undefeated in regular season play. Last year, Penn State was 42-0 before they lost to Nebraska in the Mid-East Regionals. And, of course, we all remember back in '88, UCLA was 31-0 before Texas beat them and then went on to win the national title from Minneapolis. And in '77, USC was 38-0. They are the last team to go undefeated. They won the AIAW title, so it ain't easy
Here we see a former player of the year putting the ball down. Again, she the Terminator, Bev Oden.
In trouble on the pass, and Crystal Atwood comes up and roofed up front. So Crystal not getting a good piece of the pass. Here Stanford keeps going at Crystal Atwood. They do, and she gets a good pass this time. Key is blocked, and Boyer hits it over. And then Oden hits it over, and nobody's there. And right away, it's 2-3.
Oh, and the Klum crowd jumps right into it. We see Stanford start to rally here. They're jumping right into this. This could be a tough rotation for Hawaii.
Another bad pass, Hawaii. Been consistent in the back. When Atwood and Lovelace have been back there, they've had real problems getting the ball going. That transition and the passing have not done very good for Hawaii.
Well, out of the 3-point Stanford scored, only one of them has been on a bad pass. The last one, the others are pretty good passes.
Martinez get it back, and Mullen Franson goes to serve.
Crystal showing no signs of being shook up at Stanford's 3-point run right there. She just stops everything with that kill cross court.
Off the block, Jackson gets it back, says nice, nice, and her team will serve at 3-3.
Jennifer may be Stanford's most improved player. She hit .080 last year. She's hitting around 200 now. Made the All-Pac-10 academic team last year. She may provide some inspiration for this Cardinal team.
Atwood goes right past Oden and Cooper. She keeps finding a seam.
Atwood went up against two national team B players right there and just put it down the line past Oden. Crystal's got to feel pretty good about that.
3-3. Game 3. Miley Golden plays the ball. The crowd thought was out, but Miley's got to make that decision. She does and keeps it in play. Oh, a great dig by Golden.
Miley Golden with a, look at this, great running move, puts it right to the spot where Boyer can set a quick play in transition. That's the difference in the Bows play the last month, is that quick play in transition. Another great dig by Golden.
Held ball is called at the net as Boyer went up, actually got the point, but they call a held ball, so they'll serve it again like a jump ball.
The rule net, as the ball comes to rest above the net, the referee calls play over.
Short set. Short set, and Cooper can't get there. 5-3 Hawaiian. Checking back into the match is Lori Sawin. Sawin had some great comments to make about Stanford, Chris. I mean, you couldn't ask more for a kid at a school. She said Stanford's taught her 3 things: commitment, perseverance, and patience. Good hit by Jackson. She starts coming around. Her 7th kill tonight. She's still hitting about .222, but actually above her season average. Back set to Williams.
This is one of my favorite plays that the Bows have inserted. It's where Boyer looks at Kenyatta Lovelace there in the middle and puts Key Williams to the outside. Normally it's the other way around. Prior to this, they've had Williams going in the middle and Lovelace on the outside. That new little wrinkle has thrown off the opponents. They expect to see Key Williams hitting middle every time. She's provided a heavy hammer outside.
The other thing Hawaii's done, Chris, they have not been intimidated at all. They're not making mistakes hitting balls wide or out. They're really getting their balls in play. So even if they don't go down, they're able to keep the ball alive. Only 10 errors so far in 2.5 games. That ball was tipped by Hawaii, and Stanford gets the side out. Blockers up front got a piece of it. Don Shaw talking to Bev Oden. Well, as soon as I said that, Lovelace cranks one out of the gym. Only her 4th error of the night. She's still hitting .300. It's now 4-5. Jackson goes right at Atwood. Lovelace tried to crank that one as hard as she could. It goes right into the block.
Hawaii needs a little more deception at the net right now. They need Heather Brennan going hard, splitting that block. Kenyatta Lovelace can't go up against four hands like that all night long. The odds are not with her. Once you set that Brennan in the middle or the tip play.
The ball hit right back to Heather Brennan, just reflex-wise. She just popped it back over and out. So Hawaii here in a mid-game slump need to settle down. They lead 2-0. Every serve now going right at Atwood. And Lovelace can't hit that one very hard. No tip is called. It goes over. It does get a tip. John Zabriskie overrules the linesman. Dave Shoji calls timeout. The Cardinal with a 2-point lead, 7-5. Conference champions that earn automatic bids to the NCAA championship. There are 13 of them, and what you see those numbers, those are their national ranks. There are 13 that so far have earned automatic bids. Stanford, of course, is #1 in the country. They get it from the Pac-10. From the Big West, it's Long Beach. New Mexico from the WAC, Texas from the Southwest, from the Big Ten, Ohio State, and Pepperdine from the WCC. And then we move on. Pittsburgh, the last ranked team, they get it from the Big East. And Montana, Rhode Island, Northern Iowa, Southwest Texas State, Louisville, and Duke is the last team that is qualified. Now, 3 conferences have tournaments to determine who gets in. LSU is the top seed from the SEC, Nebraska from the Big 8, and Bowling Green from the Mid-American. They're the top seeds in those tournaments. And, of course, Blockbuster is the home of the best sports videos.
Watch out for LSU. They could be a real sleeper.
Heather Brennan hits it down, but not hard enough. And Stanford hits it in the back row to Crystal. And Kenyatta.
Oh, Kenyatta with some force on that. Hits it high off the hands, keeping the ball in play. I think the greatest improvement she's made from last year to this year is that steady high hand hit where she keeps the ball in play.
Good serve. Nice play by Stanford on a quick set. Little back set. Nicely done by Carrie Feldman. Already as a junior, the #2 setter all time at Stanford, behind former All-American Wendy Rush. Interesting note, Chris, when she was in high school, she played for Davis, and her team lost to Bev Oden's Irvine squad for the state championship.
And now they're teammates.
That's right. Once again, they go at Atwood, and Crystal having some problems back there. You wonder if Hawaii's going to try to move things around.
Well, Mullen Franson right now is moving in front of Crystal a little more. Mullen may take some more passing area. Shota that time took the pass away.
Brennan using her full 6'3" frame to extend and just drop that one down, but it's 5-8.
Now, Heather doesn't have to hit the ball hard to keep that Stanford block honest, and that's why Boyer is going to her right now. Establish some credibility in the middle.
Bev Oden coming up late. Shota dives, had the dig, and puts it out of play. Bev Oden ran into her own player and just gave a free ball back, and the Rainbows not taking advantage.
That really should have been an easy free ball for the Bows, and I think Hawaii was as confused as Stanford was that time.
Kristen Klein is blocked. Boyer. Bronson will set outside to Atwood, and she tips it, but right there is Stanford. Good dig in the back.
This is just about the biggest block that Hawaii can put up. 6'3" Brennan and the 6'1" Franson get all over Kristen Klein, the probable player of the year. And Hawaii picks up yet another block, their 11th of the night, as Brennan takes a seat. Job well done in place of the injured Tony Nishida.
Nishida, Franson, Boyer, and Golden, the seniors, playing some of their last matches at Klum tonight. Of course, we'll be back on Friday for the conclusion of this series in the regular season. Hawaii hoping to host a first-round NCAA game next Thursday. Chris McLaughlin, I'll bet you can count on one hand how many times Kristen Klein has been roofed twice in a row.
I'm sure it hasn't happened this year, but I'll tell you, Franson puts a big roof on her right here. Look at that coming off that right hand. She puts it down. The fist goes in the air. The crowd goes crazy. And Hawaii gets another block. Who would have ever thought that Hawaii would be #2 in the country in blocking?
6-8. Golden, good line drive serve right at Bev Oden. And Stanford gets a nice break on that one. There is such anticipation by the blockers that sometimes these little rinky-dink things are actually working.
And give credit to Feldman for a beautiful set in the middle here. Faked out Hawaii's blockers, faked out their back row. She is a fine setter. Dawn Shaw has been more than pleased with her. She's led her team to a 54-4 record over the last 2 years. That's some kind of leadership.
I think she faked out her hitter too, but it worked. And that ball goes over the net, and you talk about sloppy. It hits Nicole Appleman standing out of bounds.
Well, sometimes when things go right, they just go right. Here, Hawaii shanks one out of bounds. Appleman thinks he's going to spike it, and then all of a sudden can't get out of the way. Hawaii gets a break.
Tipped over by Oden, and it goes out, and it's 7-8. Ron Shaw jumping up off the bench says, let's go. Momentum shifting back and forth here in game 3. Two valiant teams, two valiant efforts. And one killer swing by Key Williams. It's 8-8. Don Shaw calls timeout. We're knotted in game 3. Klum, go crazy. At 10:35 for the final Rainbow football game between the Bows and the Giants of football from Notre Dame. Join Jim Leahy and Joe Onosai as the Bows play the Fighting Irish in the Bows version of their bowl game for this year. Be there for all the action on Hawaii's very own KHNL Channel 13. And then next Wednesday, a week from tonight, at 7 o'clock, don't miss the Bob Wagner postseason special as we Channel 13.
Crucial point here in game number 3, John. 8-all, Hawaii with a 2-0 lead, and they're playing without Nishida, and they're playing the number 1 ranked team. If they let the number 1 ranked team back in this game, and they get to a 2-1 situation, watch for Stanford to tie it up at 2-all. If they go to the 5th, it could look tough for the Bows. So I really think they ought to take their chances here and swing for winning game number 3.
Well, that's all a long way away, and that time Stanford serves it just inside. Lovelace plays it back set to Atwood, and it's tipped. Brandy Brooks will come in now. She'll come in the back row for Atwood. Probably a good move here for Hawaii. Brandy's done some good serving, and she'll get to play some defense if it goes back over to Stanford.
That's right, and Krista's had some trouble in the back row the last few rotations, so good substitution by Coach Dave Shoji.
Good serve and a good pass from Klein. Bev Oden comes up. Key Williams, and give Sherry Boyer credit too, because she was right there alongside her. 9-8 Hawaii. Stanford with 7 blocks on the evening. Hawaii with 12. Free ball for the Wahines. Miley Golden, nice pass. Key Williams, the Intimidator.
Oh.
You've heard of Schwarzenegger. Well, now we got Key, the Intimidator. She just looks through the net, goes, you know, I'll drop him there all night if he'll give it to me.
You know, that look she has is something else. It's really not, you know, a malicious kind of a leer or a stare. It's just not like, hey, if you give it to me, I'll take it. She goes up a little step out, but when she looks across, goes, I can't believe you guys gave that to me. That's the softest shot I've hit all night.
The kind of look she also gave Shoji when she got her ace. He is a character out there. She just picks up her 3rd block in a row for Hawaii. A block, a point, and now another block, Chris.
Key Williams on a roll, Hawaii on a roll. 11-8, Stanford in shock right now.
Randy Brooks serving tough for Hawaii, getting bunches of points. Brooks, nice block by Boyer to keep it alive. Let's see if it pays off for the Wahines.
Christy Paso with 2 tips. Last one goes out. Don Shaw is befuddled. He's stunned. He can't believe his team is falling apart. Dave Shoji working hard on the sideline. I think he's made some masterful moves tonight, having to make up for the loss of Tony Nishida.
That one partially blocked, but it goes back over to Stanford.
Stanford seems to be settling down now. They're so stunned that they're just playing out of habit right now, and they can't believe they're down to this Hawaii team 12-8 in game number 3.
Ooh, Key Williams, nice play on a not ready for pass. Not ready for prime time, if you will, as Boyer gave it to her and she gets it over. Through the block, a great dig. Riley Golden with a dig.
Lovelace. I don't know if I've ever seen Dave Shoji as excited as he is right now. All of his moves are working, everything. Look at this dig down the line by Brandy Brooks. What a substitution there. This high outside set to Lovelace. She drills it off the blocker. Hawaii playing great defense. Brandy Brooks with another great dig.
Colin Franson comes up and hits it down.
Don Shaw that time thought that Hawaii was over the line. But in fact, he was looking at the wrong line. Mullen was in fair play.
13-8 timeout. Hawaii is about possibly to put them away. Basketball gets underway this Sunday evening at 8:05 with Hawaii's season opening tip-off tournament. That'll feature the Bows against either Arizona or Dayton in that tournament format. Join Jim Leahy and Artie Wilson courtside as KHNL debuts the 91-92 Rainbow Roundball squad. Be there on Hawaii's very own KHNL Channel 13. What a weekend of sports, and we are about to see an amazing beginning, possibly. Remember, at the end of our match tonight, Chris and I will have to pick the GTE Hawaiian Tel players of the match. Boy, that's up for grabs right now. GTE Hawaiian Tel will make a contribution to the General Scholarship Fund of UH in the name of those players who went beyond the call, and a lot of them have gone beyond the call tonight.
How about the whole Hawaii team? How about Klum Gym? How about giving them player of the game? How about the trainer for taking care of Nishida?
Another bad pass by Stanford. Hawaii's going to have a chance for 14 right here. Andy Brooks up front. Kenyatta's going to not get a good swing, though. Sherry Boyer trying to go up alone, couldn't get it. So Hawaii with an opportunity. Stanford gets it back.
Dave Shoji grabs his head and said, oh, did we have a chance there? A free ball to go to 14 points. They're going to look back at the films on that one. If they lose this game, it's going to be because of that rally, in my opinion.
Brennan with a free ball from Boyer, or a set from Boyer, and just hits it wide. It's 9-13.
Dave Shoji with one timeout left. There's a 4-point differential here in game number 3.
Key for Heather Brennan is to make a few blocks and just not hurt Hawaii at this point. Tough role for her to step in for the injured Tony Nishida. It is 10-13. Kristen Klein with her 13th kill of the night to lead the team.
She's been a little bit quiet, but there she is, the Terminator.
Again, the set to nobody in the middle, and it's a chance for the Cardinals. Off the block, Boyer. This time she gets it up. And a good dig in the back by Paso.
What more can you say about Kenyatta Lovelace other than awesome? She just goes up and keeps going up with that tremendous vertical 30-inch plus leap of hers, and then just hits it as hard as she can. Boyer with a good down-the-line serve.
Off the block, here's a chance for Hawaii. Mullen Franson. Lovelace too far from the net on that one, and it goes back over to the Cardinals.
Again, Hawaii with a good chance to score. Mullen Franson with a good set to the outside. Lovelace goes right at the center block. I think a line shot might have been a good play there. She's been going cross-court an awful lot lately. A line hit would have been a good idea.
Shota back in the back row, and a lift called on Boyer, and a point. And Dave Shoji just yells, Sherry. I think she knows. It's 11-13.
He's got Mullen Franson on the. She's got Mullen Franson on the left. And Dave Shoji's running Sherry. Why set Kenyatta in the back? She's hit a bunch of balls in a row. Hit it to a fresh Mullen. I think it'll go to Mullen right now. Let's take a look.
I'm not sure if Boyer slipped that time, but they wiped the floor. She might have slipped while trying to get the set.
Goes to a tired Lovelace anyway. Dave Shoji not happy with the play, but hey, it got him a side out, and he didn't have to use a timeout. Remember, he's got one timeout left with a 2-point differential here. Hawaii's had 2 different chances to swing for the 14th point and missed both of them.
Key in this game as it gets late is the substitutions left for each team. That's a live, nice sneak up there by Shota. There's Voden. There's Boyer with a big dig. Brennan lifts the ball. Dave shows you can't believe that.
John Zabriskie calling a play over. He claimed he blew the whistle too soon. They're going a play over.
And now Don Shaw off the bench going, wait a minute, you blew the whistle.
Inadvertent whistle. He blew it, I think, before Heather Brennan put her hands on it. And he's just correcting himself.
Yeah.